Welcome everyone, I'm Spiro for Newsbud.com. This was another big week for Newsbud, lots going on, lots to cover, plus very important updates. But first, Newsbud has only been up and running for a little over a year, and this operation is only made possible through your support. We are 100% independent and 100% people funded through your donations and subscriptions. And coming up, I will show you exactly what you've missed just in the last week alone if you're not already a member of the Newsbud community. But first, we are very excited to announce that Newsbud is about to launch our first documentary film, and it's titled General MacArthur's Conspiracy to Start a War with China. This is a one-of-a-kind documentary film that is very powerful, and you will not find anything like it anywhere else. Told here for the first time is the incredible true story of the secret operation by a rogue U.S. general to start a war with China, and the counter-operation to stop him. This film features exclusive testimonials from servicemen on board the USS John A. Bull, the American battleship at the heart of this secret mission. Plus, newly declassified documents and more. Uncover one of the most important secret chapters of U.S. history, the conspiracy, the cover-up, and the covert mission led by a rogue U.S. general to start a war with China. This documentary film is about to be released on Amazon, complete with closed captions and the film's trailer. And soon, you'll be able to secure your own copy on DVD from Newsbud.com. Plus, there will be a behind-the-scenes interview with the writer, narrator, and director of the film, Peter Lee. So please stay tuned. I'd also like to take a minute and share the trailer with you now.
I believe that we must try to limit the war to Korea. To make sure that the precious lives of our fighting men are not wasted. And to prevent a third world war.
It has been said in effect that I was a warmonger. Nothing could be further from the truth.
A number of events have made it evident that General MacArthur did not agree with that policy. I have therefore considered it essential to relieve General MacArthur so that there would be no doubt or confusion as to the real purpose and aim of our policy.
We were not to talk about this. We were not to talk about it to other people off the ship, nor among ourselves. We would be subject to both fines and imprisonment if we did not abide by this.
While no man in his right mind would advocate sending our ground forces into continental China, we can dominate with sea and air power every Asiatic port from Vladivostok to Singapore.
Again, this documentary film is about to be released on Amazon, and you will also be able to secure your own copy on DVD from Newsbud.com. And do not miss the behind-the-scenes interview with the narrator, writer, and director of the film, Peter Lee. Here is a couple highlights from that interview. Peter, can you tell us more about who was in the film and what role did they play in these events of the secret mission?
Well, one of my key sources was a Navy veteran. During the Korean War, Tracy Winslow served on the USS John A. Bull as the main propulsion officer with the rank of lieutenant junior grade, and later as the engineer officer with the rank of lieutenant.
The destroyer John A. Bull arrived in Korean waters in early November of 1950, joining Task Force 77.
So, Peter, in your opinion, what makes this film unique and special? Why should people tune into this?
Well, I think that the mission of the John A. Bull is one of the most important secret chapters in the history of the United States in the 20th century. It represented a major inflection point in American security policy in Asia, and it's one that has been virtually unreported. And it's especially relevant to bring it to light now when the United States is deeply engaged in Asia, deeply committed to confronting China, and also, of course, experiencing a new crisis over the Korean Peninsula.
Now is the time to join the Newsbud community. A Newsbud membership gets you full access to a lot of top-notch, hard-hitting content every week for a very low price. We'd like to thank everyone who has been signing up. The only reason Newsbud is here is because of your support. We recently revised our subscription page to make it easier for you to join. In addition to accepting PayPal, we now accept all major credit cards. Now, in addition to our first Newsbud-produced original documentary film, Newsbud has several other projects currently in the works right now, which will be available very soon. Our viewers and supporters will be able to stream and watch our documentary productions and other select shows right from their living room. Additionally, the Newsbud DVD store is about to launch and will be updated with new releases as soon as they are available. Now let's recap what you've missed in the last week if you're not a member at Newsbud. There's a lot of secrecy surrounding the assassination of JFK, and 50 years later, we still don't know many of the details. Motive is always a key piece of evidence when investigating any crime. On Monday's episode of Newsbud's Geopolitical Report with Kurt Nimmo, Nimmo documents how Kennedy's plan for seeking peace threatened the national security state apparatus and the military-industrial complex. The Geopolitical Report is one of our most popular shows, as each episode is jam-packed like a mini documentary. I think it's safe to say that most people do not believe the official JFK story provided by the government and echoed by the media. This is a must-see episode that shines a light on perhaps one of the darkest periods of American history. And it forces the question, was the JFK assassination part of a secret coup to take over the country? And the question we must always ask is who stands to benefit? The trailer is available now on our YouTube channel, but to see the full episode, go to newsbud.com and join the community today. All we ever hear about in the Western press concerning Russia has a major anti-Russia, pro-US NATO spin on it. So where can you find the real news about Russia and what they're up to? Well, every week on Newsbud's Russian Newspaper Monitor, Professor Philip Kovacevic covers several of the top stories from the Russian newspapers and provides top-level geopolitical analysis. This week, Kovacevic covers the alleged Vienna Convention violations committed by the United States against Russia after the United States government raided the Russian consulate. Kovacevic reports that the chimneys were already black, as it's likely that the Russians were burning documents before the Americans shut down and searched the building. Kovacevic breaks down how the current relations between the United States and Russia are at an all-time low. Not even during the Cold War was the Russian consulate shut down, despite the fact that it was known that the KGB was operating out of this particular consulate in San Francisco. Plus, find out why the US chose the San Francisco consulate instead of the other consulates around the country.
Hint: it has to do with the US preparations for massive airstrikes on North Korea.
Find out what the Russians are reporting and what their reactions are, plus the latest updates on BRICS, Russia, China, and North Korea, and Trump's newest threat against Russia and China that could lead to a major US and global economic crisis, only available for the Newsbud community members. This week, Newsbud published the latest episode of our newest show, Money and Fear, hosted by Newsbud's financial expert, Pi Ian. This episode was titled, The Not-So-Hidden Hand, Government and Wall Street Manipulation of Stock Markets. Find out in this episode how and why the government and the big banks are not only manipulating the stock market, but the economy. And this is not only isolated to the United States. In this must-see episode, you are not getting the same old story being told by the government and repeated by the media about the economy and the stock market. Find out what's really going on and what the repercussions will likely be exclusively at newsbud.com. To fully understand the very complicated situation surrounding North Korea, including all the big players, the United States, China, and Russia, you really need to watch Newsbud's China Watch, which has a brand new episode every week for the Newsbud community members. This week's episode, Peter Lee covers the potential strategy by the Trump administration to actually resolve the North Korean nuclear crisis in a peaceful way. But we are already seeing major pushback by the China hawks and the deep state to ensure that the conflict not only remains frozen and intact, but potentially escalated. Although peace is beneficial for humanity, it is not profitable for the military-industrial complex. Find out the Trump strategy and the effort to counter it, and more, only at newsbud.com. Newsbud also offers our own aggregated news, and we call it Sibel's Picks. Sibel's Picks offers you more than 100 links every week, handpicked by Newsbud's founder, Sibel Edmonds. It's the best source for aggregated news online. Our community members love it. I check it on a daily basis. And as a Newsbud community member, you get all of this. Every week, all of the videos, all of the articles, Sibel's picks, the interviews, the roundtables, and more, exclusively available for Newsbud community members. And this is all available to you for the very reasonable low price. Go look around at the other sites out there. I do not think you're going to find any site out there that offers this much content, this quality of content for this low of a price. And once you subscribe, your price is locked in and will never go up. Newsbud would like to thank everyone out there who has supported this operation from the very beginning. We're only a little over a year into this operation. We're up and running. Things are doing great. This is an exciting time to be a member of the Newsbud community. I'd like to thank everyone on the Newsbud team for all the hard work that they're putting in on a daily basis, and for all of the supporters out there who make what we do possible. And make sure you do not miss the release of Newsbud's first documentary film, General MacArthur's Conspiracy to Start a War with China. This will be coming out very, very soon. We want to deliver the best for our activist community members, but we need your support to do so. Thank you for your support, and stay tuned for next week's lineup.